help me discover what I should do. I'm 63 years old, and I still feel like a boy, like a child, like someone who is still trying to figure out what they want to do when they grow up. Honest. It reminds me a little bit, the welling that I'm feeling right now reminds me of when I was in eighth grade. And I tell this story succinctly. When I was in eighth grade, I sat at what they then called the fag table. You can't say that anymore, and I understand why. Um, but did I? For a period of time, I did. I felt like I did. The miscasts, the cast-offs, kids who kind of didn't fit there. But I also had some older friends there, so I had some of this, not the jocks per se. I never played football, but I did play baseball. But I was that kind of like bench warmer kid in baseball. I had my junior high school letter over there for playing baseball and track and field. I didn't excel at either, but I could have. I was close. I came close. Those are stories for another day. When I was in eighth grade, I was cast as the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. It changed my life eventually. I'll tell you the early part of the life change, and it's what I'm feeling welling in myself right now is I got cast because my father was a singer. I swear that's why I got cast. They knew my father was a singer. They say, well, Sean can sing. His father can sing, so certainly he can sing. But I sang like when a man's an empty kettle, he should be on his. To me, it was there was a speaking voice and there was a singing voice because this is how you sing when you sing. I sound like somebody doing that, don't I? Who does that when you sing? And Will Ferrell and Elf, yeah, when he does like we're singing, I'm singing. Anyway, and The Wizard of Oz. So I go up and first auditions. I know, again, I'm doing a horrible job telling the story, but I'm going to plow on. I went from being kind of just a cast off, an incidental. Say that I sat with the incidentals. To being recognized in the hallway. Sean, you got the part. Sean, you're the Tin Man. Congratulations! And suddenly you feel kind of like, okay, well, I something to be proud of. I'm feeling I'm feeling myself. When I got to my first rehearsals, all that kind of came crashing down when I stood on stage and went, when a man's an empty kettle, he should be on his medal. Sean, sing out. And yet I'm torn apart just because I'm presuming that I could be kind of human if I only had a heart. And I could see it in my teacher's eyes. I don't remember their names now, strangely. I guess it's not that strange. It's been 50 plus years. Um, they knew they'd made a mistake. They made a mistake. They cast me of the professional singing father who didn't live in the area anymore. And they cast my father and they got me, is what it was. And I remember trying to decide how to quit, how to leave that behind, how to just say, okay, well, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I had a tape recorder. I have one around here somewhere. I still have that kind of old cassette recorder that you would have in 1975. This was all in 1975. My life happened in 1975, for good or bad. Um, I sat down with the tape recorder and I sang into "When a man's an empty kettle," and I cried. I wept, tears on the table, and I finally figured out And it's one of those things that it came to me. No one told me, no one presented to me and said, Sean, what you have to do is just talk. And as you talk, sing, add to your talking. That's kind of the way I presented it to myself. Is that a great lesson for someone who's having trouble singing, who sings in an airy voice out there? I don't know, but it was an incredible lesson for me to go from when a man's an empty kettle to, well, I'm just talking, and then when a man's an empty kettle, he should be on his mettle, and yet I'm torn apart. And to realize that singing is just a progression of talking. Although in my later years, I have a good speaking voice. It's my bread and butter. I've made money off of this voice, spending many years in radio and a handful of audiobooks. I've made a lot of money doing that, but I've made some money doing it. But I figured it out. And the story I tell has the big dramatic finish as a beginning is that when I get to rehearsal the next day and all the dancers and all the little kids are doing their different things and practicing their jitterbug down here and they're practicing their little things on the side and I'm up on the stage and instead of going with my airy singing voice I go when a man's an empty kettle he should be on his mettle and yet I'm torn apart and kids stopped where they were and looked up and I finished and I got the rousing round of applause. I'm not sure if that happened. I like to tell the story and I like to imagine the story. I like to imagine it more than I like to tell it now. Because it changed my life. That day changed my life. Crying over a tape recorder and listening to myself and fucking figuring it out for myself. And I'm back in that spot right now at 63 years old, trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. I write. I'm better than adequate at writing. I've published a handful of short stories online. I've made exactly $30 as a short story writer, and that was in 1993. I published a story called Doing the Trash in a magazine called New Times in San Luis Obispo, California. They didn't publish a lot of fiction, but they published that story. They didn't tell me they were going to publish it. I sent it in, and then, like, maybe a month and a half later, I picked up the New Times and there was my story with artwork. Somebody took the time to draw a picture to go with it. I thought the picture was pretty cool, although they misinterpreted part of the story in the picture. But and they also there was a typo in the story too, which kind of frustrated me. But you learn things like that. You learn through the years. I have learned anyway that anytime I have been in the newspaper, not every time, but almost exclusively, there are going to be mistakes in that article. They will they'll screw something up. They'll attribute something to you that you didn't say, or they'll drop a couple of words out of something that you did say, or they'll misappropriate a quote. It just happens. Whether when I was in my time in town politics in Richmond, New Hampshire, or as a high school kid doing theater and being in the newspaper, mistakes. It's just part of it. It just is part of it. Um, with that short story, Doing the Trash, they dropped what I thought was like a critical line, and as I read it now, many years later, it wasn't critical. It was just critical to me. What am I driving at? I'm not doing a very good job driving at. If you're still paying attention to me, well, thank you. I have no idea why. This old face looking back at you. I can't figure out what I am supposed to be doing. So I'm going to do it publicly. Please be my therapist, be my helper. Anyone who happens to stumble onto this page, because I'm not going to promote it for now. I've had some luck as a short story writer. I've thought I should start sharing my stories on Facebook or on YouTube, rather, because I can narrate them. I think I could get something out of that story. Right now, this is kind of the quality that you're getting is my webcam on this Acer kind of low end. It's an Aspire 3. It's a low end laptop that I picked up at Costco about a year and a half ago. It's my computer. Love to have a fancy video recorder. Maybe I will down the road. Maybe I won't. Maybe I have no reason to do that. I'm hesitant to self-publish fiction. And again, what I tell people is, do I really believe this? Yeah, but I don't know how this is any different. Here's what I think is what I tell people is like if I self-publish, it's kind of like a little kid doing a drawing and then saying, look at my drawing. What do you think of my drawing? And nobody's going to say, well, Sean, it sucks. It's really not a very good drawing. And I feel that way about self-published. I know I have friends who self-published books. I've gone to signings of friends who have self-published books. And I won't write a review of their books. I won't do it. I can't do it. I can't be honest with them about what they've done. In fact, one of my best friends in the writing trade here, we started a writers group together. We were part of a writers group. There's 6 of us who started the writers group. He took such umbrage, such offense to the one bad review that he got. He got like, I think 25, 26 good reviews, maybe more than that, and one bad review. And it sat in his craw. It stuck around for a while, which I semi understand, but it's also like you self published a novel, and it was not a great novel. It had great moments, but that's it. And there's no way I could write an honest review about your novel without hurting your feelings. I know because I've subsequently hurt his feelings by agreeing with somebody else's criticism of his work during a writer's group thing. I'm off topic. I read just a little prologue of my novel In Progress the other day, and I put it up on a YouTube channel and thought, this is a direction. Why don't I start doing this? Why don't I start reading this novel in progress? I can put it up, put it out, create a YouTube channel. Maybe people will catch on. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll comment. Maybe they won't. Maybe I'll stay away from reading the comments and not be offended by people who don't like it. But I know it's not a good idea. I learned in my writers group a while back that anytime I'm working on a long project, it's not a good idea for me to share that long project because even positive feedback, and I mean, like, Sean, this is fantastic. I don't think you should change a thing. I think it's moving in exactly the right direction. I love your main character. I love what this, that slows me down as much as, well, maybe Bob should make a left instead of a right. And then maybe he should go, and then people rewriting or people even offering feedback. Well, you dropped a comma here. You might want to go with no paragraph here. Whatever criticisms are there, they slow me down until I'm done. If I have a short story that's done, that's complete, that's finished to my satisfaction, then a workshop group works for me or feedback works for me. But I should not share a novel in progress, so I will stop doing that. But should I share short stories? Should I share videos like this? And toward what end? Things that I love. I love baseball. I love writing. I love talking about writing. I love writing, although it scares the shit out of me sometimes. And I think that's where I am right now. And I think that's where a lot of this angst is coming from. Is that I'm avoiding writing scenes that I've been thinking about for a long, long time in the current project that I'm working on. I mean, I'm embarrassed to tell you how long the book that I'm working on in some way has been with me since 1980, 85. It's a little older than my son, who'll be 40 next year. Holy shit. In some form. It's changed a lot through the years. But that's the thing, too. It's changed a lot. What have I done with it? I wrote 600 pages, I want to say into it, but I wrote 600 pages kind of around it. I wrote this bit, I wrote that bit, I developed this backstory, I developed that backstory, um, and then I put it away. For a long time, I put it away. And then I've come back to it. And writers commiserate that I've tried it from so many different angles, from first person, second person close, third person, close, not second person. That wouldn't work on this at all. Uh, and I think I finally found the avenue anyway to tell the story. But all of it gets down to this: I'm afraid to write the big scenes. I'm afraid to really write what the story is about, and I still can't quite figure out exactly what the story is about. And that is the theme. And to write that good log line, that good one-liner, where some people will tell you if you don't have a good one-liner, if you can't, if somebody says, "Hey, what's the story about?" and you can't say it's about this guy who blah 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 and then blah blah blah, and if you can't say that succinctly, then you might as well not even sit down to write because you don't know where you're writing to. And you can tell by the way I'm ramping up that I think that's bullshit to an extent. I think, listen to me talk. And again, you teach best what you most need to learn, says Richard Bach. Um, I think you need to write it. You need to put all it's the sculptor analogy to me. A sculptor is gonna you have your is it a lathe? Is that what they put their stuff on? If they have like a wire body, if they're sculpting a bust or a torso or something, you got to put all the clay on before you start molding it. Before you start going into the details, head, shoulders, boobs, hips, legs. If you're going down that far, arms. But you put it all together, it's all up, blobbed up. But you got to get it all up there before you start working on it, before you start doing the fine detail work. And I truly think it's the same thing with writing. Put all the words on the page, put it all up there. And if you wind up with a 300,000 word manuscript or however many words next pass, add to it. You're going to be adding to it because you're going to find out you're going to flesh it out and then maybe get a feeling for, oh my God, that's what it's about. I think I discovered what it's about by putting all these words on the page. Then you add to it, then you pare it down, then you pare it down, then you pare it down, then you pare it down. But the hardest part is putting all of that stuff on the page at the beginning. And the hardest part for me is 17 minutes into this video, this ramble, this rant is I don't know if that's what I really want to be doing. What is it that I really want to be doing with my creative time? I like to create. Some may say I like the sound of my own voice. It's why I'm in radio. I didn't go into radio because I love music and I wanted to be a DJ. I went into radio because I had this passion for it from the time I was probably 12, 13 years old when I sent away to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting for their material when I was living in same era, probably 74 as opposed to 75, as a kid. Why? Probably because I had a lisp when I was a little kid. But I liked to sing too as a little kid. I had the show off gene. I had the actor gene. I have that actor gene from my dad. It's been a long time since I did any of that too. What do I like? I love baseball, as I was saying. So I love writing. I love everything to do with writing, be that writing short stories, novels, screenplays, stage plays. Somebody asked me the simple question recently. A writer friend who's a college professor. Genre? What medium do you like best? Do you like short stories or screenwriting or novels? And I'm like, I don't know. I find a short story easier, a lot easier, because it's a contained tale. I've completed one novel, but I say that, and there's a little worm inside of me. It's like the self-publishing thing saying I completed a novel, and I've shared it with a few people, and the feedback was decidedly mixed toward negative, and I've put it away, and I'll keep plugging away at that because again, that was sloppy. Did I get all the material up there? I did it. I proved I could do that, but it's sloppy. I want to be a novelist. I really, really want to be a novelist. I want to be able to say, "Yeah, I wrote that. I wrote that," and I'm glad someone found it worthy enough to publish it, as opposed to, "Yeah, I wrote that and I published it myself, and go ahead and read it, and if you like it, whatever. If you don't, go ahead and lie to me. I love baseball. Probably said that 3 times now, and that gets into my writing. It's big into the novel in progress that I'm writing now. I like it's the here's a phrase that I've glommed onto lately: lazy spiritualism. So I've always been into pretty much always into things like tarot and astrology and grooviness, and I dabbled in actual religion, Presbyterianism, as a high school kid. After chapters that we'll go into if I talk more about my early days of my early life. I went to church on my own and then fell away from the church on my own and became an atheist on my own and have trouble with that word. I like the word agnostic better, but I think agnostic is I, it's socially acceptable much more than atheism or atheist is socially acceptable. But essentially, they're saying the same thing, right? I mean, if you say you're an atheist, it means you have no theism. It doesn't mean you flat out don't believe in God. Well, the fact is, I don't believe in God the way you define him. I am 99.9% sure, unless you're someone like me. God is not a being. He's not a being. He's not a personal God. He's not really giving a shit about anything. But I do believe in purpose and I believe in reason and I believe in the collective. And I believe that if there is a God, that's what God is in really, again, simple terms. So, lazy spiritualism. Have I read the Bible? Nah, I've read a lot of the Bible, but it's like when I hear people say they've read the Bible maybe twice. I think I just watched The Whale with Brendan Fraser, right? And the guy said, "Have you read the Bible?" Yeah, I probably read it twice. I can't. I can't. It's the language, not the vocabulary. It's the language. It's the way the words are put together. It's like the reason I've never been able to read. I'm embarrassed to say I've never been able to read "The Sun Also Rises" by Ernest Hemingway. All the simple words, they just the sentences put together and the paragraphs, they don't work for me. I love John Irving. I love John Irving. Got to meet John Irving once. He actually responded to a letter that I wrote to him once another time. That to me was like touching the hand of God. Um, that's off topic too. I worry about the integrity of my intellect. I do that a lot. I will be on a topic and then I fade. I'll need note cards. If I want to do these videos and I want to share them with you, whoever you are, I'm probably going to need note cards to keep me on the straight and narrow, and then I can veer and come back. The heavy sigh was because what entered my mind was Donald fucking Trump saying, "I do the weave. I talk this and that, and then I kind of weave it all back together." No, you don't. You don't. You don't. You ramble. People enjoy it. Oh, politics. I enjoy baseball. I love writing. I love theater. I've always been comfortable on the stage since The Wizard of Oz. It's a place where I like to be. It's exhilarating to me. One of my favorite things to do that I haven't done in a long time because I haven't done theater in a long time is to stand on stage in an empty theater before a performance. That's my church. To feel, and I think that's why some churches have that kind of holy feeling as well. It's why theaters have that holy feeling. It's why an empty stadium has the same feeling. I once was at I think it was a bartenders conference, if that's the right word, some kind of convention. When I was tending bar in New Jersey, and the boss sent us out to learn some laws and rules and regulate. I think he had to send us there, but it was at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, and the New Jersey Nets played there then. And I remember we were just wandering around on a break. I remember me being there. I don't remember who I was with. And stepped into the arena where the Nets played. And we walked into this empty arena, and you walk in and you go, wow. You look around, but it's the feeling. It's if there are ghosts, you'll find them in empty baseball stadiums and basketball arenas and theaters more than anywhere in my mind. You'll find them in theaters and in churches, in places where people have kind of let go, where they've let their emotions out, where it colors the atmosphere. I ramble. That's what I do. Maybe I'll call this rambling. I thought I've toyed with the idea through the years of having my own business as a Sean called Communique Sean. And my wife, who doesn't like me in my radio days using her name, so I'm not going to use it here. But if you know me, you know who she is. She's a lovely human being. She just doesn't like to be a public human being. But she said, "Oh, I hate things like that." She doesn't like the toy names like Communication, which is, so many people all the play on words that people use when they name their hair salon, or they name their pet sitting business, or whatever. But so I've thought of that communication, but I don't know that it fits here. Am I communicating? It's more of a therapeutic thing. It's for me. It's a selfish uh, entry into being a public persona for me. I think about this lately, and I want to keep this under a half an hour, so I got about 3 minutes to fill, if that. When I graduated from high school, I went to Mason Gross School of the Arts, Rutgers University, very, very briefly. I was out of there before the end of the first semester. I got 0 credits. And it's because I wasn't ready. I was scared to death, and I had this laziness. That's not the right word. There was some kind of psychological issue going on with me. I did not go to my tech hours. You had to do like just something like 20 hours, or maybe 20, 30 hours tech in theater to go to it. And I think I went once, maybe twice. Sit around with a hammer in your hand and you learn about this set and that set. Easy stuff. You're just learning the tech end of the theater industry. But when I was at Mason Gross School of the Arts, the actress whose name slips my mind now, I'll get it to you again if I talk about this later. She played Helen Hunt's best friend in Mad About You. And I saw her years later in that show. And I remember at the time, little kids, my kids were babies, I think, when that show first came out, maybe, I think. Yeah, memory. I was seeing her on the show and thinking, I feel like I know her. You've probably seen her in something. No, I feel like I know her. And it wasn't until years later, with the advent of the internet, when I looked her up, I'm like, oh, I do know her. I went to school with her, and she was very nice to me. I remember once, as a group, the people I was going to school with at Mason Gross, a bunch of us went to New York City and saw a play. I don't remember what play we saw, but I remember we went to New York. And on the train ride on the way back, I was talking probably the way I'm talking now, but as a young man, I was much more, oh, my mother did this, my father kidnapped us, and he was wanted for kidnapping in the state of Massachusetts, but we were in New Jersey and blah, blah, just gushing and talking primarily to that woman who went on to be in Mad About You with Helen Hunt. And I remember a guy came up on the train and said, pardon me, excuse me, but you are just being, I think he accused me of being rude and our group of being inappropriate. And it was this actress who told him, as a young woman, said, "You're being rude, sir. Get away, go away." And she was very nice to me. And anyway, when I looked her up on the internet later on, I'll get her name to you later on, but you'll know if you watch Mad About You. Turns out she quit acting and went into psychotherapy. And I think, was that because of me? It's a very selfish thought on my part. Coming up a half an hour, that's my ramble. And yeah.